Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to review some Puerh tea. And the tea I'm going to review is 2012 Impressions, which is a raw Bing tea from Yunnan Sourcing. Yunnan Sourcing I can't recommend enough. He used to sell quite a bit of stuff on eBay, but now has his own storefront. And it's run by an American who moved to Kunming, China. And he knows more about this type of tea than I think anyone in the English-speaking world. Anyway, he's been making his own tea as well as selling the Chinese brands. And this tea, on one of my orders a good 4 years ago, included a sample, and oh, it was delicious. So I ordered a 7 Bing tong of this. I'm down to my last 3, and it's very, very good. As I mentioned in the earlier video, is this tea, as it ages, increases in value, and this one is no difference. It's already, you can still buy it on his website, but it's a good $10 more than what it was when it was introduced. So how do we make this kind of tea? First we unwrap this. You can see it kind of crumbles a little bit. You may notice there's a little remnant of a piece of paper there. And this isn't the one from there, but is often in it. These are, I think they're called NAFE tickets. And it's sort of a certificate of authenticity. Believe it or not, people try to forge making these teas. As anything that increases with value, there's always somebody right behind there with a scam to try to make money with a lesser quality product. And they have, they'll have little ribbons in them of metal. They'll have all kinds of anti-counterfeiting devices. Some of them even have like a hologram in them, all kinds of stuff. So how do we make this? You can use a knife or a letter opener, or this is a little tool that I got specifically for doing this, and this little tea tray. But you don't need all this. You can just snap a corner off and call it good. So if you're using one of these, you just sort of pry off some leaves. You see I've pried off about a thumb size quantity of it, maybe a few more in there. Okay, we'll let that drop down into the tray. We'll put that back. Then we'll take our teapot, and then I will just put that down into there. There we go. Try not to get too much on the floor. Okay. Now that's in there, I'm going to go heat some water up, and I'll be right back, and we'll make some tea. Alright, I finished step 1 of making the tea. This isn't just dump hot water on it and drink it. For one, let's talk about the water. The primary ingredient in tea is 99.999% water. So if the water in your area is not to your taste, use bottled water or use a water source. That's good. So definitely can have an effect on the tea. With this tea, you do not want the water boiling. Unlike making an English cuppa, where you want the water at a rolling boil, you want this at what they call fish eye. What that means is bubbles are coming up out of your kettle or whatever it is you're using to boil the water, and the bubbles are about the size of fish eyes. You'll look at it, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. That water will be about 92 degrees centigrade when it's about that, and that's about right. And the first thing you want to do when the water's at that temperature is you're going to pour it on top of these leaves, let it sit for a few seconds, and then immediately pour it out. And then just let the pot sit for a minute or two. And what that's going to do is, you saw how compressed that tea was. That'll awaken the tea leaves, and they'll expand, and they'll be ready for the real brew. Now what you can do at this stage is stick your nose in the pot and see what it smells like. Oh, this is great. It's got a fantastic scent. If you haven't drunk Puerh tea, it's different from any other kind of scent of tea that you've had. Kind of a little vegetal smelling, like almost a little bit like a plate of steamed vegetables. A little bit of earthy kind of scent to it. Maybe like some sauteed mushrooms as well. Not particularly the best at describing it, but that's about all I can do. All right, I think we're ready to put the water on here for the first cup of tea. I will be right back. I've put some more water on there and I think we're ready to drink. It doesn't need to brew for long. 20 to 30 seconds is really about it. And I'm dripping it everywhere, as you can see. There we go. You can see the tea is a golden greenish tinge to it. Now, one thing I didn't mention about this making tea this way is once you've poured off the one pot, you can put more hot water on it and make a second cup, and a third cup, and a fourth cup, and a fifth, and so on. You just increase the amount of time the water sits on the leaves, and it's not unusual to get 10 or 12 cups of tea out of one set of leaves. And I find the tea hits a sweet spot about the third cup. That seems to be about, it's got the right strength and everything. It's all woken up. Now let's give this a taste. Oh. Oh yes, that's very good. This is outstanding tea. It's got, you can tell it's a green tea heritage. It's got that flavor that the green tea has. Now, I don't put sugar, I don't put anything in my tea. I don't know if you'd want to with this Puerh tea. But it's got, yeah, the kind of fresh, green leafy type of flavor, almost an earthy flavor. Now, as these age, they do settle down and get a little more earthy. But quite good, quite refreshing. Even though it's hot as anything out today, if you noticed, a lot of hot drinks all came from hot climates, so nothing unusual there. Well, there you go. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cup of tea, and I will put down in the bucket some links to Yunnan sourcing of where I got this tea, and then if I find some links to some other information about this type of tea, if you're interested, maybe I'll put those in there as well. But if you've never tried this type, give it a shot. Quite good. Go enjoy your beverage of your choice on this 4th of July weekend, and everyone have a safe and sane and relaxing 4th. Sound dude out.